It's convention season, and you're going to run a game at the convention, whether it be Gen Con, Origins, a local con like I'm going to North Texas RPGCON, and you're just wondering, I've never done this before, what do I need to do? Pretty simple. Stay tuned up next for some advice on that. Hey YouTube, this is the Evil DM here, and welcome to Sage Advice. Hope you're enjoying the series. If not, well, why are you here? No, I'm kidding. Hopefully you're enjoying the series and hitting like every time and leaving a comment to give me some feedback and tell me your experiences, because it's always fun to interact with everybody and hear what they have to say after one of the videos. With that said, we're going to talk a little bit about prepping for a convention. While it's convention season right now, it's going to be a fun time for all, whether you're playing in games or running games. I myself like to go to conventions and not run so much. I like to play more so because I get to play in those games I never get to play in throughout the year. Because sometimes my group doesn't want to play them. You could find almost any game you want to play at Gen Con, even like the really weird, obscure ones. So this is your chance to run out there and play those games. Can't find those games, or maybe you have a game that you want to play that you can't get your group to play, perfect opportunity to run that game. Like an old game like Top Secret, run it at Gen Con, you'll get players. Want to play Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Angel? Run it at Gen Con, run it at Origins. Plenty of people want to play. So, with that said, let's prep for a game. How do you prep for a convention game? Well, this one's going to be hard because you never know what to expect with a convention game. You don't know if people are even going to show up for the game. Sure, people will sign up for the game, but are those people actually going to show up for the game? I've seen a couple people when going to Gen Con, and they ran a game of classic Dungeons & Dragons, for example, like the old school stuff, and only one player showed up, but yet like 6 people bought tickets, so he didn't actually get the game, didn't go off. Things like that happen. I had run a game for way back in 2011 for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition back then. And I had 7 people sign up for the game, but only 5 of them showed up. So you never know. You can't really... It's hard to plan for a convention. So what you want to do is prep for the maximum amount of players there, but always remember that you're never going to get that. Or you can prep for the 7 players and always remember you're going to get the 7 players. It's really up to you, your decision, how you want to prep for this. But chances are you're going to have to do that. Now, what you want to do to decide for your game is 2 things. Do you want to spend time during your game block, because you only get a certain amount of time, between 2 to 4 hours, depending on how much time you've decided and the convention allows you? Do you want to spend time creating characters, or do you want to give pre-gens? Pre-gens aren't the greatest in the world, but it does let everybody get a chance to experience the game and just play. So most DMs or GMs will just do pre-gens. I did pre-gens, and my players were at the table were more than happy just to take it. What I did was I fanned the characters out on the table, and I had everybody roll a d6. The highest number went first, looked through the pile, grabbed a character, next person, next highest number, ties, roll again. And that's how we did it going forward. Another way I've done it before with these pickup public games is generate characters and then just hand it to my left, and then everyone just takes a character, moves to the left. Another way I've seen it done in conventions is you fan all the characters out on the table upside down, and you just go, okay, take a character, and everybody just reaches forward and grabs one of the papers. And hopefully they don't fight over them, but, you know, they won't know what it looks like. So whatever they get, they get. You're going to also want to leave the characters as general as possible. Now, what I mean by general as possible is when you design those characters, don't put any descriptions in. Just put in the class, the level, and their abilities scores, and the skills and weapons and armor they get. So let the player take a few moments before the game starts to write in their description, their name, their sex, their description as far as height, weight. Let the player decide those things. I found if you do that, people will be more happy with what they're playing than they're not. Because Some people don't like playing opposite sex characters, and I don't see the problem with that, but there are people that just are uncomfortable doing that. So you want to make sure everybody is comfortable at the table. See back my table manners video, previous one to this. Everybody should be comfortable, so that way they could write in what they want. If they want to write in that they are non-binary or gender fluid or whatever, that's fine with me. Just write it in there. Something needs to be written in those descriptions so we have an idea of what the character looks like. Once that's all done, then we go around the table and quickly the players will describe what their character looks like, just so everybody gets an idea and can write down the name just for the heck of it. Because players like other players' characters' names, just as something that we all do. After that, you may want to briefly go over the house rules or the rules of your game as you run them, because not everybody can read your mind. So go over those rules. See back my table manners video if you want to use some of those. But those are a good idea to tell these people what is going on so they get a heads up. So if you have a house rule for what a D20 does, and a 20 on a D20, like a crit exploding thing, let them know. Tell them so they know. After you do that, just run your game like normal. And remember that not everybody is exactly like you. Everybody is different. Make sure you consider everything that you say could possibly annoy or offend somebody. You can't be too careful, not gonna lie. So remember, you don't know the people sitting at your table unless you do know a person, which is great. You don't know them, so keep personal opinions to yourself. Play as neutral as possible. Just enjoy the game for what it is and have fun. Now, you've prepped your adventure. You've got the players there. You've got the characters written up and everything. So now your adventure itself should be planned, I'm going to say, in your style for the game that you normally run, but a little more railroady than normal. Because you are at a convention, you should have something prepared, and you should tell your players this is what it's going to be like. And if you want to run a loose game, that's fine. But most people are there to experience this game because A, they either really enjoy it and don't have a chance to play it, or B, it's one of those games that hardly anybody plays and they just want to experience it. So just give leeway in your game. Allow the players to experience it, but yet try to push them along a certain path. And while I don't like doing those things, at a convention you kind of need to do those things. So remember that, yeah, you're going to semi-railroad the group, and I know people are screaming out there going, you're never supposed to. Yeah, well, this is one of the instances you kind of have to at a convention. You can't leave open-ended, let the players do whatever they want, because then it's going to become one of those yawn, boring. So remember that. After the game is over, you can decide if you want to give them experience, and if you have a second game, allow them to take the characters into your second game. If not, collect all your stuff. Some players actually like to keep character sheets of their convention gaming experience and even have you sign it, which is kind of weird because I had that happen to me. And I had actually handwritten all of the characters on a notebook piece of paper because I wanted to give that whole old school experience to the group. And when they were done, 3 of the players were like, can we keep our characters? And I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, yeah, I just want to, keep it in my my Gen Con folder. I like to keep a convention folder. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, do you mind signing it? And I was just like taken aback by that because I've never had anybody want me to sign anything. But I signed it, and he was more than happy, put it inside his little folder with his laminated papers. And he said, thanks, have a great one, and he left. And I was just like, wow, cool. But that's a convention game. It's not really much more different. It's not much more different that you can do to a convention game versus a home game, except some of the things I've mentioned here. So just remember those things. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Hit that bell icon if you want to get those videos. Good night, everybody.